So when we're working with documents, we want to try to enhance them to make them look a little bit better. And a way to do this is to work with things like section breaks, columns, but also to be able to go into a document and add some images, some shapes, and maybe work with some text formatting to make things look a little bit better. So just to give you kind of an overall example, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Resources tab in MyTech, and I'm going to go down to the Word section, and you will see that there is a file there's two files I want you to save to your computer. The first one is Hacker, which as you can see is a PNG image. And then I also want you to save the document called Protect Issues. And so when I open up the file Protect Issues, you're going to notice that it has a little bit of formatting. So we can see that it has a blue title, it has a border, it's worked a little bit with some section titles and using some color. So it's not that it looks horrible, but we can probably spice that up just a little bit. So I'm going to put my insertion point before the T in that very first paragraph that I have. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the Layout tab, and I'm going to go to breaks. And I'm going to add this section break so that the title will stay at the top of my document if you want to see the breaks, because a break is a non-printed character. So if I go to the Home tab and click on Show Hide, it shows me that I added a section break. So that title should stay here. Now when I go to the Layout tab and choose Columns and put my document into 2 columns. So this is what my document looks like so far. I'm going to go to the Columns option under Layout. I'm going to go to More Columns, and then I'm going to adjust the spacing in between to 0.4. Notice it adjusts these as well because the check mark is here that says equal column width. And so that would be something that you could remove if you wanted to have your columns different widths. I'm going to go ahead and leave it set at that. And I'm going to click OK. And then from here, I want to go to the end of my document. So I'm going to do Control End. Notice the insertion point moves to the end of the document. I want to be able to balance out my paragraphs on the next page so that the paragraphs on this page look like the paragraphs on this page. So I'm going to go back to breaks. I'm going to choose continuous, and then notice it balanced those out on the page. Okay, so that's working with your text a little bit. We could go in here, we could choose the first letter, we could go to the Insert tab, we could click on Cap, we could add a drop cap to make it look a little different. It's just a way to make your text stand out. I have that image that I saved. So this is talking about property protection issues. I can actually go ahead and add an image in my document. So we've done things like this in other assignments. If I go to the Insert tab, which I'm at, and choose Picture, I saved that picture on this device, and I saved it on my desktop. So I go find my Hacker PNG, and I click Insert, and it just places it wherever my insertion point is. So I can do some customizing to this. I can go ahead and, first of all, I should probably choose some text wrapping. So right now, I'm just going to do some square text wrapping, and it's a hacker. So I'm going to kind of move it up here where they're talking about hacking a little bit, and we'll see about moving it later. Okay, let's do some things to that. First of all, when you click on the image, you have the picture format tab that appears. And so I notice that I can adjust my height and my width. If I come over here under the size grouping, I can just make that 1 inch tall. Just condenses it a little bit so it doesn't take up as much space. We can also do some things with the backgrounds, the corrections, the color, the artistic effects, etc. I'm just going to go ahead and under color, What kind of matches my document? Let's do, I'm going to do this blue accent color 1 light. So, if you have directions on an assignment and they're that specific, if you hover over your different images, it'll tell you what style it is. So I'm just going to pick that one because it seems like it matches the blue font in my document. And then I'm going to work with the brightness and the contrast a little bit. I'm going to go to corrections, and so right now that's normal. Let's give it a little more contrast. Notice that when I do that, it kind of just makes it a little bit darker. So for corrections under contrast, I chose the brightness 0. I didn't change that, but I changed. So we've added the contrast under my corrections. We did the 0% brightness with plus 20 contrast. There are some other things that you can do with your image. For instance, when I look at this spy, I guess, he's on the inside of the image, and wouldn't it be nice if he were on the outside of the image? So up here under the Arrange tab, or under the Arrange group, you have the option of rotating. So if you click the drop down, we can actually flip him horizontally so that now that picture is on the outside of that. You can also notice how you're working with your text wrapping here. You can come up under the Arrange group and you've got text wrap here. You can work with your text wrap there. You also have the option of position. So with the position, where do you want that to be? I could click on middle. So when I choose middle square text wrapping, it moves that picture down a little bit and puts it in the middle. So that's just being able to work with either text wrapping or your positioning as you're working with that image. So just some kind of fun things that you can do. Something else that you see sometimes in documents is you will see like a text box, or you might call it a pull quote. So if I go to the Insert tab, notice that you have the option of text box, and there are different text boxes. So there's just a simple one. I use that one a lot when I'm creating things. You have some of these different text boxes, or you might call them pull quotes. I'm going to just click on the Austin quote because it looks like it's got that blue border there. So how do I put text in there? It's just simple copy and paste. If you wanted to draw attention to the fact that plagiarism could maybe cause you to be, expelled from school, I need to find that text. So I can read through the document and find it, or under the Home tab, you have the Find or Control F. And so I'm just going to type the first few letters of plagiarism, and it's going to highlight for me in the document where plagiarism is found. Here is a quote that says plagiarism may be punished by law. So I could go ahead and highlight that quote, and I could copy it, and then I could come up here and I could paste that by doing a Control V in that box. Notice it takes it away from the lines. If I go to the paste options and choose to merge the formatting, then it puts the text within that space. What I need to do to this text box is obviously it needs to have some text wrapping. So I'm just going to do like a square. And then again with this, it's a shape. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the width of that. Actually, I'll decrease that a little bit. And then I can just move that wherever I want it to be. Since it's talking about it down here, I'll just move it kind of in the middle. So that's just being able to use a text box. The last thing that I wanted to show you is in your document. If I come down here to the bottom of my document, I'm just going to go quickly insert a random shape. I don't know, what am I going to pick? let's just do this one. We'll just drag this shape out here. If I want to put some text in there, obviously I'm going to go under the shape styles and shape fill and lighten that up a little bit so that I can read my text in there. I'm going to type the word resume, and it's white text so you can't see it. But if you highlight it and just pick a word art style, you can increase the style or the size of that so you can read it. Resume, like right now it looks like it says resume. Resume, I'm going to highlight that E, and then I'm going to highlight the second E, and then I'm going to do a symbol. So I'm going to go back to the Insert tab. Oh, my text wrapping is on. I need to fix that first. Okay. Actually, I'll just highlight the one. I'll go to Symbol. I'll go to More Symbols. This looks like it is the Calibri font. So I'm going to type Calibri in the box to find that font. And then I'm going to find the symbol that matches it. So there's the E. It's got the accent symbol above it. I choose Insert. I'm going to just close this, go back and choose the second E and do a Control Y, and it will repeat the last action. Or you could use your format painter and paint that as well. So there we have the word resume. I'm not really sure why it, oh, I had my accent mark going the wrong way. That's why it looked misspelled. So now I've added that. I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to go back to my Insert tab and choose date and time. Notice if you want your date updated automatically every time you open a document, you want to put a check mark there. By default, it is not. I will just go ahead and add today's date, and I might have to make my shape a little bit larger so that I can see that. If I decided I wanted to add the time, then I could go back to date and time and I could pick the time. So you can go ahead and work with your shapes. I just wanted to point a couple of those things out to you. You have the same features available to you that you did when we were working with the text box. So for instance, the position. You can change the position of where it is on your document. You know, if you want it at the end, in the bottom center, you can choose the position. We also talked about being able to align. So you can go in and choose how you want it aligned on your page. If you want it aligned at the top, if you want it aligned in the middle, you know, where do you want it aligned in the page? I'll put it back at the bottom of the page. So just some things you can work with. You can align the text. You know, right now it's in the middle. I could say the text needs to go at the top. I really can't tell that because of the shape. But depending on the shape that you're working with, that might be something that you're interested in as well. So just wanted to go over a few things as reminders. You know, possibly you want to add a title page or a cover page. You could go to Insert and choose Cover Page. Pick the style that you like. Get rid of the boxes that you don't need. So the title, we'll call it Property Protection. Do I need a subtitle? Probably not. So I can just click on the three dots and delete that. If I don't need the abstract, I can delete that. So you should delete the items that you don't need. And then if I were to put my name on it, and then, I don't know, you probably don't need an email address. Some of the pages might have date, etc. But that's how you can insert a cover page quickly on your document.